Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Tonight we get set to close out our Super Speedway trifecta here tonight on another beautiful Saturday night as we'll get set to go racing from the Daytona International Speedway once again, this time for the Crypto 225 in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. My name, as always, is Nolan Rempel, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what will be a 90-lap race here tonight. It is going to be an absolutely phenomenal race for us here tonight, exactly like we saw just last night at the LTAC All-Street Media Cup Series when they went racing here for their season opener. It was a thriller 80-lapper. We extend the distance by about 10 this time about. So we'll be looking set to go racing for 90 laps and 225 miles of racing action here tonight. Your championship order entering the race tonight looks a bit something like this. Aaron Raymond has finally broken clear of that 100-point deficit. Back to Christopher Howell. The points gap now sits at about, I'm reckoning about 112 points as of right now. So it is a big gap for Howell to try to surmount. In every single race, that gap shrinks more, or the possibility that he could get a championship here shrinks more and more. At this point in time, Raymond's got enough that he could very well lock this championship out before we get set to go racing at that critical final race at the end of October. Brad Slagle, of course, is in a battle with Howell for the number 2 spot. Otherwise, he has effectively locked out the 3rd spot on the podium for Average Joe Motorsports. So all of that is going to mean it's going to be a wild race here tonight, as a lot of drivers are going to be looking to try to put themselves up on the top of the points boards and figure out what they're going to be able to do. You do have drivers currently out on the racetrack trying to put down qualifying laps. One such driver right now is this one, the likes of Bill Hales, currently sits 6th place on the boards out of Mount Washington. He sits with a 52.1. That is just half a tenth of a second, half a tenth of a second, excuse me, off of the pole sitter, Josh Berry, who's sitting up at the top. There's going to be a good chunk of drivers here that are going to be looking to try to put themselves up towards the top end of the standings. Christopher Howell, of course, is currently rounding the track on his qualifying effort right now as well. We're going to be seeing Bill Hales coming across the start-finish line here. We'll see what he'll be able to put down for his 2nd lap of qualifying here tonight. Dips onto the apron, crosses the line, and there will be no improvement for Bill Hales. We will move down now then to Christopher Howell, the driver currently working his way around turn numbers 3 and 4. He's going to look set to try to put himself up onto the points boards, as we'll see what Howell is going to be able to do as he'll come across the start-finish line this next time by. The driver to Moyock, North Carolina, already dipping down onto the apron, and he is going to be pulling into the pit roads. He will not be able to improve on his 19th place qualifying time. Nobody else at the moment is on the racetrack, so we're going to take a step back. You're watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series on Green Flag TV. We'll be back with your starting grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We are just getting set to wrap out qualifying here for the TNGG IEL Truck Series in the Crypto 225 for the Daytona International Speedway. With everything all lined up, we've got 20 trucks ready to take it to the racetrack. So here's how your starting grid is going to look like as we get set to go racing for what should be an absolutely thrilling 90 laps of racing action here tonight. Starting on the pole, you're going to be having the likes here of Josh Berry with Dale Rapp started beside him on that front row by just 9,000ths of a second. Also at 9,000 back will be Tom Dixon, putting down a time good enough for third. Paul Witt is back and fourth for row number 2. Brendan Gregg and Bill Hales bring it up on row 3. John Buwalda Jr., Brad Slago are on row 4. Casey Ellis and Aaron Raymond are on row number 5 to round to the top half of the field. Mike Allen and Ryan McRoberts will be on row number 6. You'll be, of course, having the likes here on row 7 to Bobby Blowers and Robert Jordan on row 7. Philip Isaac, Tristan Bear on row 8. Thomas Lane Jr. and Greg Byler are going to be on row number 9. Christopher Howell and R.J. Buchanan round out a 20-car field from the Daytona International Speedway. So we've got everybody stacked up, lined up, and ready to go racing here tonight. So why not? Let's see if we can't talk to some of these guys here. We'll see what's what on the racetrack. As we'll see if we can't. Why not? We'll see if we can't dial up the driver that's going to be starting this race down in the number 4 spot. See if we can't get in touch with Paul Witt, your driver of the 429. Paul, this is Nolan Rempel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. Gotcha.
Well, it's going to be an intense race tonight. You're starting right up there at the front of the field, second on the outside row. What are you going to have to do to survive the opening salvo?
I'd like to just stay up front, lead as much as I can, get up there and lead as much as I can, and just stay out of the trouble if I can.
Is the plan to just focus on this race one pit stop stint at a time, or are you already looking forward to what you might have to do to get that win on the final lap?
Well, don't know yet because, you never know where you're going to be, coming at that final lap, but I'm hoping to be there at the end and maybe pull off a win here tonight.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then here tonight as we'll get set to go racing. We'll let you get to work. Good luck out there tonight.
Thank you.
Paul Witt, driver of the number 429, going to be starting this race from 4th place, second on the outside row as your field of 20 trucks strong starts to roll off. As we will start to roll things out. And this should be a good show here tonight then for everybody involved. You got Josh Berry, of course, on that pole in the Alaska Airlines Toyota Tundra. A new look for Josh Berry's truck. Should be a good ride for him. We'll see what he'll be able to make as we'll work the back straightaway with 1 lap to go before we go to green flag racing. Field going to work around through turn numbers 3 and 4 as we run off of the back straightaway, and it should be a good race here tonight as Berry and Rapp, 2 drivers we're not used to seeing on the front row, will look to take it to the green flag, and who knows, we could be in for a barn burner here tonight. The trucks always put on a good show, especially at the super speedways. I'm expecting no different here tonight. We're happy that you're joining us on a Saturday night as the pace truck pulls into pit road. Green flag is up in the air, and we are racing at Daytona. Working the front straightaway, Paul Witt will lead lap number 1 as Dale Rapp hightails it up on the top shelf. We are still 2 by 2 all the way from first to last in your field here tonight. Witt has jumped to the front ahead of pole sitter Josh Berry, making that move to the lead early on. So Witt making an early jump from 4th to 1st. Now Berry chopping up to the top side, going to be looking to try to push back to the point. As you'll have James Mewin. That's actually Tom Dixon, my apologies, working that inside lane. Berry chops back down for the lead. And that's something we're going to be seeing a lot of tonight. Lead changes galore, as these drivers are going to be swapping back and forth constantly up and down throughout this field, trying to make sure they can get clear for the race lead. Dale Rapp with that move for the 15. He'll lead lap number 2 at the stripe. But Berry still looking to battle back from the bottom shelf as Paul Witt tucks in line for the number 2 spot. Brad Slagle sits on the inside lane, 4th in line. He is side by side with points leader Aaron Raymond. He got one truck dipping out, going to the back. That's Robert Jordan filtering through this field early on. He's going to slip all the way down right to the tail end. Not wanting to have anything to do with these guys up in front. He'll drop all the way to the back portion of this field. Got to be careful you don't slip back too far, though, or you could risk losing the draft. And then you're in a new world of herd. Right now, Greg Pyler, Bobby Flowers, and Robert Jordan all at risk of losing that draft, especially Pyler, though, and Jordan, as they remain side by side. Whilst the rest of this field fires off in towards turn number 1. Rapp leads the top. Berry on the bottom. And this 2x2 action is how this is going to stay sort of for a while here, because you are not allowed to go 3 wide before lap 17. So I'm not expecting anything to get real crazy until we get to that point. Although I say that, the very first race we had here at Daytona, they also had that rule enforced, and we had a caution on lap 15 of the race here at Daytona. It was a doozy at that, a multi-truck pileup over turn 2 involving several trucks. I believe one of them got kicked up and over as well. Aaron Raymond chops down in line right in front of Brad Slagle. Goodrich Services Silverado will take off back towards turn number 1. Everybody's being nice and patient. We're being composed. We're making sure that we can all be there. Fight this race out at the end. Paul Witt makes a jump to the top, pulls up in front of Dale Rapp. We'll be looking to make that charge up to the race lead. And that outside lane is cooking right now, as Witt's going to get clear. Immediately chops back down in front of Josh Berry. Now that's all well and good for now, but if you keep ditching lanes left and right like that, nobody's really going to want to work with you later in this race. They know at the first chance you're going to abandon them. So you could find yourself without a lot of friends, and you need friends at super speedways, as that's going to be one of the critical points on having to get to a win here. You need to have those draft partners. You need to know who to work with. A lot of the teams like to link up together. Average Joe Motorsports, no doubt, looking to get hooked up together so they can make some moves towards the front of this field. I know the slightly talented drivers crew of Blowers, Ellis, Bayer, and Pyler trying to get themselves linked up as well. 2 of the other teams that are out in force tonight, Team IEL includes Barry, Lane, Bawalda, and Jordan. And then, of course, you got Silver Fox Race with Hales, Rapp, and Allen all tucked in line. And even then, you have a good chunk of drivers like Isaac, Witt, Raymond, and Buchanan that are all speaking more in a general voice channel here on the TNGG IEL Discord server as well. So everybody's communicating with each other, trying to figure out where you want to go to make these moves to get to the front, or even if you want to make those moves to get to the front. There's nothing wrong with taking a back seat in the early half of really in the first half of this race, just to try to save some fuel, see if you can't game the strategy and work your way up in the end. The LTAC Cup Series opener we saw yesterday did not see a whole lot of strategy going on. It was more we raced out to a caution that everyone would pit under the yellow flag, and in fact the longest green flag run I believe we had in that race was about 15 laps. Hoping for a bit better here tonight. Of course, the Cup cars and how they race around a plate track is so much different when you compare that to the trucks. And you can already tell just by the fact that with these 3 trucks on the outside are able to push up and make moves on their own is impressive. That's not something to be seen in the Cup cars. You would need a line on the outside about the equal force of the inside, something close to it, in order to make any type of progress. And Rapp may not be able to move to the front fully, but he's not losing any time. And at the end of the day, That's what's critical as well. Just making sure that you don't lose enough time so you can actually be there to fight this out at the end of the race. Now Dale Rapp chops down low. And Rapp, for the first time all race long, abandons the high side. And now we may see Ryan McRoberts and Bill Hales starting to slip back. And as I say that, he'll jump back to the top. Moves up in 3 and 4 to give that run back. And that will allow Paul Witt to lead an easy lap at the line. That time by for lap number 8. Paul Witt continues to push up in the front. He is being shoved from behind by Josh Berry. You've got a few trucks. Ooh, hello. We actually got one that got a bit close and to the outside wall. That was the 50 of Tristan Bayer that we just saw almost slap the outside wall coming out of turn number 4. To mention that we have a few trucks still kind of hanging around right at the tail end of this pack. Robert Jordan and Grant Gill are among them. But at this point, they're biding their time, right? They are anticipating some sort of wreck, and they're just waiting to see how that's all going to pan out in front of them. They want to give themselves some room to maneuver, make sure that they can still be here and fight this race out at the end. So we are approaching 10 laps in. With 80 laps to go, this time by at the line, making good time right now. And the Crypto 225 at Daytona. It's been nice to see such a sizable field turn up for this series despite how long the season is and the fact that there's no chaser playoff format to help get guys back into the fray. The fact that everybody here is still willing to turn up and put on a good show every week really shows just how dedicated everybody in this league is to making sure that they can turn up week after week, put on a good show, and put on a good show they have. It's been a solid running so far here from Daytona, and I'm expecting it to continue to go down this way all the way until we get around to the checkered flag at the end of 90 laps. Paul Witt starting to slip back on the bottom. The outside lane gaining momentum. Dale Rapp leads, and now Bill Hales will chop to the bottom. So Hales will now look to go to the point here early on as he'll stall on that momentum that the outside lane had, as Hales will take that one right up into the lead of this race. Driving from Mount Washington, Kentucky, doing a good job so far on trying to stay out in front, but Dale Rapp has the momentum back, now being pushed by the initial pole sitter, Josh Berry. Down into turn 3. Ooh, bit of a wobble that time on the outside lane as well for Berry, as he was having to scramble just a little bit. Starting to approach that point, though, where we'll be getting the 3-wide band lifted at lap 17. However, that's also at the point where we're going to be seeing pit stops coming on up with these guys as well. And that's one of the really big critical things, is they wanted to make the 3-wide rule be about as long as the first fuel run is, in an attempt to try to split the field up a little bit, at least in the early goings, and make sure that we don't get an early race caution string. As super speedway races so often have a tendency of doing it. It's been effective for the most part, save for, of course, the initial season opener. You can now see a lot of trucks starting to drop back down to the bottom, and I'm starting to wonder if more of these guys on the outside aren't going to be trying to find a way to get down and in. One place you don't want to be when you have to start pitting is on the outside line, and for good reason. It's only going to bring you a world of pain towards the end of the race. Working the back stretch. Going to be 15 laps in this next time by. Only 2 trucks lead their crusade on the top. Rapp shoving Bill Hales. Got a few trying to catch, but for the most part, everybody starting to duck down into the inside lane, which tells me that pit stops are imminent. All 20 trucks so far still bunched up in this main leading pack here. Nobody's been making too many aggressive moves and bids to try to get up and around. It's been fairly tame so far. It's exactly what you want to see from a plate race early on. Everybody being calm, being collected, making sure that they'll be there to actually fight this one out at the end of the race. Dale Rapp will now ban to Bill Hales, and he's actually going to lift off and allow Hales in line. That just leaves a lone truck way up on the top side in the back. That, I believe, would be Alan Isaac, who will manage to find a hole. And now, for the first time all race long, we are single file all the way through this field as we work back into turn numbers 1 and 2. Expecting trucks to start hitting pit road either this lap or within the next 3 or 4. Definitely unimaginable before lap 20, especially if your guys like Paul Witt, who have spent a good chunk of this race leading the way as opposed to following. No takers this time around. We'll start lap 17. And with that, the 3 wide ban is lifted. Everybody single filed out now. The checkups that we can see throughout this field are a lot more substantial, and you can now see how that's really starting to impact some of these guys as further towards the back. Mike Allen and Philip Isaac have been starting to lose touch up to Christopher Howell. They're off by about half a second now to these guys in front, and there's a lot of trucks sitting right now in a little bit of no man's land, and that's not doing any of these guys any favors. And here come the leaders, all hitting pit road simultaneously. 3, almost 4 wide down into the pits as we lock it down. Everyone bar the top 4 is in for service on lap number 17 going to 18. See if anybody's going to have any big stabs. Oh, Hales will. He'll tag the inside pit wall, and that is devastating for Bill Hales as the rest of this field will now cycle out. And there you see the rest of this field working out of pit road, looking to be fuel only for majority of these drivers. Save for Mike Allen. Allen taking 4. So Mike Allen takes 4 tires. Everybody else only taking 1. Philip Isaac has spun exiting pit road. And that brings the next, the last group of 4 down into the lane. So there's been a few incidents, and we'll get to all of that in just a moment. We'll wait for this pit window to cycle itself out first as looking to be relatively clean overall. Everybody being nice and composed on pit entry. A couple of the trucks looking to be taking tires. I believe Ryan McRoberts taking a set. Everybody else taking fuel only. It's a bad call, I think, to take tires only 17 laps in. John Walter Jr. is back in a pit road. He's got a penalty to serve. Here comes everybody else working now out of pit road. They'll be steadily caught by the leaders. And it looks like it'll be Aaron Raymond potentially to lead the way as he'll power by around the top shelf. Going to get a ride on board with Bill Hales entering his pit box here. He got hit from behind, actually, so we got another look at this one here. Oh, yeah, a bit of help from Dale Rapp will send will send Bill Hales down into his pit box, which is that's just unfortunate. And then, of course, you had the problem we saw with Philip Isaac getting off track. This is exiting pit road. Oh, just spun the wheels up and slid it off. Right, so let's reset here. Aaron Raymond with the race lead. Josh Berry is down in second. Tom Dixon is third. Rapp and Hales run fourth and fifth. Just behind them, you got Tristan Bayer, Brandon Gregg, Casey Ellis, Christopher Howell, Bobby Blowers, as well as Brad Slagle all in the line. They're going to now catch the leading pack. So you're going to have the top half of the field all in one big battle pack. 12th place at the moment in the bit of no man's land. He is with Thomas Lane Jr. And then you got everybody else back here who quite literally is in no man's land. They are not hooked up together at all. And these are all the guys that we saw taking tires on their last pit stops, unless you're John Walter Jr., in which case you had to come down to pit road with a penalty. Paul Witt has already gone one lap down. All right, then, we are 20 laps deep in the Crypto 225 of the Daytona International Speedway. We're going to take a quick jump back. You're watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series live on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Tom Dixon just took the lead away from Aaron Raymond, being shoved from behind by Dale Rapp. Raymond working the bottom lane, still trying to fend him off as Josh Berry tucks him behind, and Berry getting down and out of shape and almost had to come to pit road. And that will allow for Tom Dixon to now take over the race lead, as something going awry for Josh Berry working out of turn numbers 3 and 4. So that's an interesting thing to take place. Right on board. We'll see if we can lock down what caused Berry to suddenly go from pushing the leader to going all the way down the field. Dale Rapp, in the meantime, has now taken over the race lead. He is now pushed by Hales, who is pushed by Aaron Raymond. The lap prior, so it's a bit sooner than we were anticipating. We'll get a better look here. This is working off of turn 4. Bit of a weird one, just kept turning a bit more than he into off of turn number 4, and then he went all the way down onto the apron. I think he wasn't quite sure where the field was. He was just trying to make sure he wasn't going to run over anybody. All that allows now for Dale Rapp to take the race lead. We are 26 laps in. 3 cars are a lap down. Bawalda, Isaac, and Witt. Mike Allen is about to join them as he's just up the road in front of your race leader, Dale Rapp. Still green flag racing in its entirety. We have not seen any yellow flags as of right now, and typically TNGG has been phenomenal in keeping the cautions to a low. I know at Daytona, the first time we came here, we saw a fair few, actually. I believe you had about, like, what, 5, 6, maybe 7. We went to Daytona the last time out, but this time around, it's been tame. We haven't seen anything yet. Nobody's really done anything too surprising, except for, of course, Barry's mistake there off of 4. This is the main pack we're watching here, and then, of course, you got this one as well with R.J. Buchanan, Thomas Lane Jr., Ryan McRoberts, and Robert Jordan. They're in survival mode of this race. They're about 13 seconds behind the leaders. Not losing too much, but they're not really gaining anything either, which is their big problem right now. They just have no way to catch up to the main pack, so they are hoping for either some big pit stop mistakes or for a caution to come out that could allow them to get back up and into the fray. Coming on up next throughout the rest of the TNGG IEL Truck Series season, obviously we only have the month of October left, and then that's it. We are done. In all this only 3 races remain after tonight. We return to Bristol Motor Speedway next week for the Coliseum 190 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll run to the Gateway 100, the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That'll be 120 laps, and then we move to Homestead for the TNGG IEL Championship 195. And the way that Aaron Raymond's championship has been spelling out as of late, he very much has the possibility to clinch this championship by the time we get around to Gateway. If he can get a solid race here and next week, it could be over by October 14th. We'll see how this is going to pan out, though, obviously. I know Raymond has not necessarily made a whole lot of friends, and it all kicked off in the Dark County 150 just last week at the Eldora Speedway, where there were discussions had after the race, and they were heated discussions at that. The main call stemmed from the fact that the top 5, for the most part, in the last 70-lap segment we had, have been riding the wall a good chunk of the race. Now, that is a tactic that's long been a problem in dirt racing on iRacing, where you can just kind of ride the wall, just knock the right rear fender in, and just get a whole lot of speed. It works in sprint cars, worked with late models, modifieds, what have you. For the most part, iRacing has worked to rectify this issue, and they have fixed it for the most part. They've not fixed it for the trucks at Eldora, as it was found out. So these guys were all of a sudden lapping about a second a lap faster. Nobody could really catch them, and the guys running second through fifth were claiming they were only doing it because they had to try to catch up to Aaron Raymond, who was the driver that instigated the whole wall riding thing. And it is a move that is frowned upon heavily in the dirt racing community. And unfortunately, Raymond did not seem to have a whole lot of remorse for the fact that he kind of bent about what may or may not have been allowed, or typically is known as acceptable when it comes to racing on the iRacing service. And in fact, he made it very clear he would do it again if he had the chance. And that is why we all of a sudden have a new rule enter this week. Wall riding is no longer allowed in any capacity. Good race. Punishments as severe as a disqualification. So a lot of drivers very unhappy with Aaron Raymond after that, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna pan now. Paul Witt will go down the lap, which is a big shame as Paul Witt started this race up in fourth. He'll manage to tuck in line as believe that through Brendan Gregor on his outside. It is. So it tucks in line for 20th spot. He is now 2 laps down. After he had to spend 19 seconds in pit road, he had to take a second stop for a penalty that he faced on pit road. Third of the way through this race, just over. We are under 60 laps to go. Dale Rapp continues to lead from Hales, from Raymond, from Bayer, from Dixon, rounding out the top 5. Christopher Howell, the driver that was hoping for a good points night, is going to be down in 8th. And the reason why I was hoping for an easy points night here tonight is Aaron Raymond teased at the Eldora race just last week that he may not be able to make it to the race here tonight. Obviously, that is no longer the case, as Raymond very much on the racetrack and doing what he can to secure maximum points for himself. So far, take a look at some of the biggest movers and shakers over the course of the race. As you can see, Tristan Bayer is getting the most. He is plus 12 positions on the afternoon. Just one more ahead of Christopher Howell, who started this race way back in 19th, who is up 11. Paul Witt has lost the most. He is down 16 positions. But other than that, you'll look at drivers that haven't had to face penalties. John Walter Jr. down the second most. Only down 9, though, so not too bad. Wald, of course, is in the lucky dog spot with potential to go for the race win at the end of the night. And this, at the moment, these 4 cars, these are the only trucks that are not in the main pack. Everybody else is in that main pack that we saw up in front. So we'll see how this is all going to pan on out. And by the way, these are the deltas that we're seeing between these are the gaps we're seeing. This is between McRoberts and Blowers. So the last lead lap truck in line up the road compared to the first truck in line to the secondary pack. And you can see they're losing over a second a lap, and this last one was only down to 7/10 of a second. You see 1.9 on laps 30 and 33, 1 second on lap 32, 7/10 on 34, 8/10 on 31. So they are losing out pretty substantially, and it's not going to be a gap that they're going to be able to maintain for too long. Now we start to see Average Joe Motorsports jumping to the top, as here comes our second round of pit stops. Bill Hales leads the pack in for the second pit stop stint of the evening. This time, no problems for Bill Hales getting into his pit box. He was very lucky that that hit from Dale Rapp on his first pit stop run did not come into play at all in his run. You'll see the other group of 4 just slide into the pits way at the back portion of your shot there. And we'll keep on with this for a while here. We'll see where the leaders are going to come about, as Howell, Slagle, and Gregg are some of the last trucks on the lead lap. They moved up to the top. They had a bit of extra fuel to burn. And in fact, they're going to keep it on the racetrack for a little while longer. So it's looking like Average Joe Motorsports not wanting to tempt fate too early on here. They're going to be trying to stay this one out and run it out dry. Maybe hope for a caution, I would think. Not that does them much good, as they still fall back to at least 11 when they came down to pit under caution. I'd imagine to be pitting this time, though. And here they come into pit road, and Slagle way in hot and may have gotten a speeding penalty. I think he may have just escaped it, though. We'll see how that's all going to pan out. They're all down and into the lane. Josh Berry and the others just now got up to speed. They'll work around 3 and 4. As Greg, Slagle, and Howell will now leave pit road. They'll remain clear in that run down towards turn number 1, but it won't stay that way for long as Josh Berry now leads the way. He's taking over from Hales and Raymond. But can they get around Greg, Slagle, and Howell before they can get up to speed on the backstretch? There's Brett and Greg. And not going to be able to do it as you can see everybody starting to be caught. The big train moves around to the outside. Brandon Gregg going to keep it pinned to the bottom. They're going to have to fight their way around the long way. And Josh Berry back to the point from where he started on pole. Bill Hales will get around Josh Berry as Berry slipped further down through this field, and he'll slide all the way back to 9th. Christopher Howell looking to make some moves. He's with Paul Witt up on the top shelf, trying to catch up to Dale Rapp, and oh, look out as Dixon tried to go up the middle. Didn't go his way, though, and he'll be caught in the sucker hole now. Dixon funnels back to the bottom. Howell jumps down. Here we go. Now we're starting to see a bit of a scramble for the lead as Christopher Howell jumped down low. Critically, though, gets in front of Aaron Raymond. As now Bill Hales leads another lap for lap number 41. Dixon starting to get a bit more aggressive, jumps to the top side of the XPM Chevy Silverado. Leaving now for the two title rivals to be locked bumper to bumper down on that inside line. Still have 15 trucks on the lead lap, 4 that are 1 lap down. Paul Witt, the only driver right now that is 2 laps down. You still have a 4-truck pack with Lane, Jordan Buchanan, and then Roberts that is all running line astern for 12th through 15th. You have another driver as well, Casey Ellis, that's dropped off the main pack. He's now with a good chunk of the guys that are a lap down. Another group of 4, you got Mike Allen, Alan Isaac, and 39. Alt's in the middle of this. Who is that 39 truck? Now that I think about it, I'm trying to get a lock on who that one may be, as that's is that Greg Pyler? It is Greg Pyler. Is that a 39? Am I going crazy? Is that a 39 truck, or is that it is. All right, wrong truck number for Greg Pyler, running the number, being scored as the 90. Patrick Hernandez's old number, being run as the 39, though, on the racetrack. Kicking off lap 44. Howell continues to lead the way, but boy, oh boy, these battles not going anywhere anytime soon. As you see now, Dale Rapp moving up to the top shelf as well, trying to establish some sort of momentum run up on the top. Overall, this field showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon, and I think it's going to be one of those races where we're going to come right down to the checkered flag, and it's going to be about as wild a race as you can get, especially once these guys actually start to battle out with one another up on the racetrack. So why don't we take a rundown top to bottom throughout this field as Tom Dixon starts to battle Christopher Howell for the race lead. Dixon moving to the point up on the top shelf. Christopher Howell runs second down to the bottom. Bill Hales is in third up on the top. Simon Aaron Raymond down in fourth. Rapp is in fifth with Paul Witt down in sixth. Tristan Baer is in the number 6 spot, Paul Witt, remember, is 2 laps down. You've got Bobby Flowers in 7th, Brad Slagle in 8th, Brandon Gregg in 9th, Josh Berry rounds out the top 10. Casey Ellis, Thomas Lane Jr., Robert Jordan, Arthur Buchanan, and Ryan McRoberts and John Walter Jr. will lock out the other guys running down to 16th. You've got Allen, Hiller, Isaac, and Witt to round out your 20-truck field. So the battle for the lead is starting to pick up. You've got Bill Hales running up there on point now as he's going to move to the top shelf, as that was a rundown top to bottom throughout the course of your field here tonight. Had a brief moment of a couple of drivers actually having a bit of a problem off of turn number 4. We'll get a quick look at this one here as this was coming off of the final corner. This is John Walter Jr. Thought he was coming down into the lane. He ended up not. And then this is off of turn 4. Oh, big trouble. The 18 car of Philip Isaac getting into the outside wall in a big way. That will send Philip Isaac down to pit road. And he is going to be effectively now out of the race because of that. No caution, though. We keep it green. We are now past halfway. Bill Hales, Dale Rapp, and Tom Dixon also running line astern. Oh, coming down the track is Dale Rapp. Look out as they're all going to pedal it in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. That stacks up the entire field as that got a bit close for comfort. Coming down the back straightaway. This is what happened on the backstretch here. You're going to watch here as Dale Rapp tries to follow Bill Hales down in front of Tom Dixon. Thought he might have room. And there just isn't. Tom Dixon is sent down, and that checks up the entire field. Close calls all around, but Bill Hales will maintain his run for the lead. He now has pulled in front of the lead of Dixon. Paul Witt, a lap truck, leads the way from the bottom. Now we start to see the nuances of what happens when you have a lap truck leading the way down to the bottom because, right, Tom Dixon able to save a lot of fuel, but at the same time, Paul Witt is preventing him from able to actually lead laps, which is always something you want to be doing when you get to a track like Daytona. But for the most part, again, it's been very clean, very organized, and I think Paul Witt at the moment doesn't mind being the one to be leading the way down on the bottom so long as He's not being hooked into the wall like Aaron Raymond is, as Raymond gets turned up into the outside wall. And that's going to bring out the caution flag for the first time tonight. Wow, that was massive as Dale Rapp just cleaned Raymond out. Tom Dixon leads the way. As we'll get a look on what happened on the front straightaway. Watch this here. I mean, Rapp just goes down and hooks him. Absolutely sends Raymond into the outside wall. That is a very strange incident, to put it mildly. Got the 50 truck of Tristan Bayer pretty good as well. Right on board with Dale Rapp here. Let's see what he saw. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, he just turns left. I don't know if he was trying to come to the pit road or what he was trying to do, but he just turns left. And trouble for Tom Dixon. Dixon out of fuel. So Tom Dixon is out of fuel, trying to coast into pit road. He's not going to be able to make it, though. You can see on the dashboard, only going 20 miles an hour. He's going to have to be given a push. Or he might have to feel back. He may have been putting the clutch to make sure he could actually make it around, which is not a bad idea. So he will be secure now as we'll work down in the pit road. Boy, that is, that's tough, though. We'll see what the series admins think of that whole mess after the race. Could we have just seen some of those outdoor frustrations? I mentioned a lot of drivers were frustrated with Raymond. We have just seen some of that spill over at Daytona. Field is steadily working its way out of pit road. We are 40 laps to go in the Crypto 225 of the Daytona International Speedway. So with ourselves on the caution flag, number 1 of the evening, we're going to take a quick step back, and we'll be back before too long. You're watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series live on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are just coming to the conclusion of our opening caution of the night on lap number 52. We'll be going green with just under 40 laps left to go in this 225-mile race. The caution came when Dale Rapp hooked Aaron Raymond coming out of the final corner. Raymond has managed to recover, courtesy of a quick repair. He's going to be down in 8th place now. But that has now put Christopher Howell up in the race lead. or the second spot, I should say, as actually Josh Berry with that race lead, but Berry has opted to take the outside lane, interestingly enough, for the restart. As we shall work our way around through turn numbers 3 and 4, and we'll go racing on lap number 53 with 38 laps to go. It has definitely been an interesting race. Now you can see Christopher Howell starting to back the field up. He's going to work to now catch at the tail of the pace car. That's cheeky from Howell. Bit of a check there, and that's going to potentially bottleneck the field now coming out of turn number 4. Looks like they'll be all smooth sailing, so we'll work our way back around to that restart zone. We'll wait on the iRacing starter, who will take us back to the green flag at the World Center of Racing. Josh Berry will lead that run down for the bottom side of the racetrack as he'll look to just continue to log laps around the Daytona International Speedway. We are double file throughout this field. There you see Tom Dixon leaving pit road. He had to come down in the pit road, was in there for about 33 seconds in the box before he was able to get back out onto the racetrack. As Berry now with that race lead runs it down the back straightaway and in towards turn number 3, but now he's got Bill Hales working on the outside, and now critically, there's no rule about not going 3 wide on the restart here, so you are very much allowed to do as you please, so long as it's a safe move, I guess. Hales again with that momentum run up on the top shelf. Christopher Howell trying to work the bottom, and you got Tristan Bayer now. He thought he might be able to get up there, but no. Bill Hales abandoned him, chopped down in line with the inside lane. He'll leave Bayer to Casey Ellis. Ellis will pull up towards that back bumper as we work it down into turns 1 and 2 to the Daytona super stretch. But look at the run that Bayer, Ellis, and Rabbit able to get. Tristan Bayer chops down low. And now here comes Dale Rabbit and Paul Witt looking to make a move. A bit of wiggling around going on in the middle of this field. That's going to check up the inside line. Paul Witt jumps down in line with Dale Rapp, and Rapp almost got hooked. Just keeping it in line. Mike Allen looking to want to get in there as well. So a few lap trucks now looking to push Dale Rapp well clear of this field. And remember, guys like Allen and Witt, they are indeed fighting for the lucky dog spot here. Which could be what this is all about. RJ Buchanan, meanwhile, looking to make a move on the top side. He's being shoved by Robert Jordan to the point. So Rapp, Bayer, Buchanan, which is the 52, the 50, and the 99 at the moment. Those are the top three. The 60 and the 429 trucks that you see kind of getting involved in these battles, they are not fighting for positions with the leaders here. They're fighting for positions among themselves with a lucky dog spot. And Paul Witt is also, he's also trying to get his lap back in general to make it so he won't even need a lucky dog spot if he gets a field flag. R.J. Buchanan looking to work that. Oh boy. Well, that's a wiggle that's not going to go well. Neither is that bump with the side of Mike Allen, and it's moves like that that cause monumental accidents. We were lucky we didn't get one when Raymond got turned. We could get one up here, though. These guys are racing real aggressively right now, and nobody's able to really get in line and bump each other properly. It's causing problems. I think the fact that two of these trucks are lap trucks as well, that can't be doing these leaders any favors, because the leaders, remember, they're trying to find a way around them so they can, battle for the lead. So right now, you'd think Buchanan would be side by side with Allen for third, but no, he's not. He's still running in second. Dale Rapp is on his inside now as Paul Witt being pushed clear. Or is he? No, he's not. Again, the whole line bobbles. A really Buchanan bobble there. And Buchanan drops down low. He is done racing with Paul Witt. We go to the top. No, he won't. Mike Allen getting down onto the apron. Will Buchanan let him up? He just will. And again, that allows for a huge drive from the outside line. As here comes Robert Jordan looking to make his push around for the race lead. Witt chops down in front. And just like that, Jordan with no help on the outside. Well, with 30 laps to go, that has just secured Dale Rapp's run for the lead. We are not done with pit stops just yet, by the way, I believe. We've still got 2 more pit cycles ahead of us. One for a full tank of fuel, one for a splash and go. Every time you see one of these trucks flirt with that double yellow line down on the inside, I cringe up a little bit because you can already imagine the monumental pileup that could be caused when you have so many trucks running in such close proximity with one another. We saw a few major pileups at Daytona in the season opener. We have not seen any tonight, only a three-truck incident early on, right around lap number 49. So I guess making some good time, but it only takes that one bad bump, and it's going to throw this whole thing out of whack. Once again, the whole field single file out. So we have Rapp leading from Buchanan, Raymond, and Jordan and Bayer. are the top 5 on position. In terms of actual leading this train, you have Paul Witt, technically 48.9 seconds behind race leader Dale Rapp. Although in reality, he is just pulling the train along, and it is Dale Rapp wanting to save a bit of fuel. That is the one thing that is keeping Rapp from going a lap down again. Expecting these trucks to come down the pit road within the next 5 to 10 laps or so. So our next run of pit stops is not far off. Philip Isaac, in fact, already bailing in the pit road. We saw him slam the outside wall earlier in the race, although there was no caution for it because he kept it going straight, but it effectively ruined his night. And he may very well be calling it quits. And in fact, well, I thought it was on a stop and go for a second, but no, he is going to remain in the pit road. Arjun Buchanan making a look up to the top. Thought he might go for the lead for a moment. He opts against it. 25 laps left to go. Got first through 15th. All lined up at this pack. Every driver, save for Philip Isaac, in fact, lined up, line astern with this main pack of trucks. You can see everybody right now running single file. Nobody has been opting to go for any sort of moves here, and I think, again, the problem with that is, well, not the problem, but the reason why they're doing this is they're prepping for the pit stop window, right? Nobody wants to try to make a move because you'd be trapped to the outside for so long. You don't want to be on the outside when you're looking to hit pit road. So that's the big concern that is on everybody's mind right now. Philip Isaac will leave pit road, a minute and a half in the box. He'll now be going 4, looks to be 5 laps now by the time he'll get to speed on the back straightaway. At this point, you have to also, I think, start considering where do you want to make these moves, right? How do you want to try to set yourself up? Do you want to link up with a teammate and try to get a big push to the front if you're near the back? Or if you're at the front, you just go for a Hail Mary and hope for the best, see what comes your way. And we're, of course, talking about setting ourselves up for that critical final lap, the one lap where everything kicks off. The rules tend to go out the window. Getting ever closer to the next pit stop window, and I wonder if a lot of these guys at the moment in this field are trying to see if they can push to make it on a one-stopper. It would be a stretch. You take a look at the stint lengths here, it's been very consistent, right? 17 laps, 18 laps, 15 laps, and then we had a caution flag, and we're working lap 17 right now for this one. And that is, of course, with 2 caution laps that we ran as well. So we're expecting this not to pit for another 2 to 3 laps here. But it paints a picture, right? You cannot really go to 20 laps. It's just not going to happen. So some of these guys, I think if you could push to lap 72, you might be able to make it, but it would be really, really close. We're talking running out of fuel, crossing the line on the final lap type of close. But we've seen some wild things when it comes to finishes, and in fact with fuel strategies as well on Green Flag TV. So we'll see what Rapp and Buchanan and others will be able to do for us here. Ah, they couldn't make it. Here they come. funneling down into pit road. And this is going to be extra crucial now because this means we're going to be seeing pit stops again with maybe about 3 laps left to go, because they are not going to be able to make it to the end of this race. About half the field came down this time by. Bill Hales now leads the way, pushing Mike Allen. As we wait for the rest of this field to cycle into pit road. Hales, Barry, Lane, and Moore are all going to be down in the pit road this time by. This is the entire rest of this field we're waiting on. Oh, trouble, Raymond! Raymond's been spun around again on the back straightaway. And that is lap number 71. Caution flags out for the second time. And everybody else is in a pit road. Now, how's this going to cycle out? They might be forced to the back because they were in pit road when the caution came out. I believe Dale Rapp will cycle through to be the leader. Oh boy, but Raymond spun around again on the back straightaway. So Hales and Moore are going to be out of pit road now. Now, how is this going to work with Dale Rapp? I guess we'll have to wait and see on when we get down in the round to things proper. Oh, Ryan Roberts getting into the grass a little bit just behind these guys. He's going to get himself sorted, though. Let's get a look back, see what happened to Aaron Raymond. This is going to be on the back straightaway. As this was all coming to a head. Dale Rapp again. That's the second time Rapp's got into Aaron Raymond now. Admittedly, this time he may have had help. Maybe a push from behind by Robert Jordan. You see there was already going down the racetrack. He's going to ride on board with Robert Jordan here. We'll see what he saw. Now, this is going to be right out of pit road we're working here. So you see, Rapp goes to the outside. Jordan is closing in. I don't know about that one. It looked like to me Rapp was already moving down. We'll ride on board with Dale Rapp here. We're going to slow this up. This is right about here. That's what the con is. He's already turning down. I don't know about that one, Chief. That's interesting. It's the second time Rapp's got into the side of Aaron Raymond. But of course, that's it's getting spicy, it would seem. Thomas Lane Jr. now with the lead. We'll take a jump back. This is with just under 20 laps left to go. We're back with the final 18 or so when we go live once again and get back to racing in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. Pit stops are just coming to a close. We cut back a bit quickly here on this one, but this is critical. We've got pit stops actually finishing up under the caution flag. Now, the reason why this is big, look at the pace car. We're lights out. We're ready to go back racing. Josh Berry has already made it out of pit road along with Christopher Howell. Now, the reason why they came into pit road, topping up on fuel, because we will hit 17 laps to go. This time by at the line. When we go to green flag racing, that is quite literally just on the cusp of being able to make it to the end of this race. But it is at the point, if we go into overtime here, we will not be able to make it on fuel. So this is about to get absolutely wild on the restart. I mean, what do you do? what do you do? How do you react to this? You just have to, at this point, it's go. Hit the pedal and go. I think the only driver that would be at risk of running out early would be the leader, a.k.a. Josh Berry. So because everybody came down to pit road, this is going to be a de facto single file restart. I don't have the words. Pace truck is in. Raymond is trying to catch up to the rest of this field here. He's going to be in second now as we'll jump back. Well, we will not. We will hold it. We will hold the start. There is the pace truck will be coming back out. As we'll get ourselves back rolling. Thought for a moment we'd be going back racing, but some confusion, I believe, in the running order will bring the pace truck back onto the race course. These guys in the lead here are going to have to slow down for this pace truck. They can't go green if they're in front of it. They're going to have to wait here. This is going to... I mean, they are slowing. I would hope they're slowing. What's the speed they're going at right now? I'm trying to track that down. I don't have the speed. They're going about 80 miles an hour right now. They need to be going slower than that. They're in turn 3, and the pace truck is on the backstretch. Somebody's got to wake Josh Berry up and tell him what's going on here. Oh, Raymond is stopping. Raymond's got the memo. Stop, wait for the pace truck. Lights are back on again. This is turning into a bit of a mess here. Thompson Jr. is stopping to let him through. So is Christopher Howell, and now so is Josh Berry. Finally got the message. On the front stretch, a bit late, and that's why we're going to hold this start again. So our second delayed start. And all of this, keep in mind, is stemming from the fact that we just had these guys go down pit road. Berry's speeding. Why is Berry speeding up? Like, he should not be speeding up right now. He should be slowing down, waiting for the pace truck, which is still entering the tri-oval. He needs to... I mean, Berry and Raymond are both accelerated. They should not be doing this, though. They should be just... I'm not sure what is happening. Greg Pillar and John Walter Jr. are back in the pit road, or at least they were, briefly. What? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I wish I could tell you guys at home what is going on the racetrack here, but I genuinely have absolutely no clue. Absolutely none. I mean, this has been... It's been a trip. Josh Berry is going all the way around the racetrack. And in doing so, he is going to be effectively a lap ahead of the entire field, which that's not right. He can't be doing that. He needs to slow down. Aaron Raymond is in the same boat. I don't know why they're speeding up and going around. I mean, guys, slow down. I don't say this very often, but it's not rocket science. It's going to be telling to let the pace car by. And yet, here we are. We're working our way around. If they do this, they're both going to be penalized. They're going to be sent way down the field. I don't know if they were waved around or what's happening. All I know is that it looks like the pace truck is going to be taking the green flag here. Will we get another extension on this? Because Barry and Raymond are lined up at the end of the field. They're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be at the front of the field, but they need to slow down by a lap, but they can't do that now. Well, the pace truck's in. Like, we'll see what happens, I guess. That's it. Green flag. We're racing again. And have you ever seen a timing board at Daytona look like that? It's one of the most anticlimactic starts I have ever seen. And the caution's out again. Right. So there's definitely a lot of confusion right now over what is going on the racetrack. That was an administrative thrown yellow. So that was the series owners that have thrown this latest yellow flag. Now we should be able to get everything lined up and around and get everything kicked off. We're going to take a jump back. And you know what? We'll wait till all this is sorted, and then I'll give you the full rundown. Or at least I'm able to figure out. I'm going to do some digging. We'll be right back on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. So, allow me to tell you a story. So when the caution was thrown again, I was correct. Aaron Raymond and Josh Berry were both passing the pace truck, and they went around to catch the tail end of the field. What they should have done was waited for the pace truck to catch them, as the rest of the field had done. That is why we had the big problem where we had everybody trying to go green on a different lap, and everybody was at a sync. So that's why the extra caution was thrown. Raymond and Berry have both been given penalties to be sent to the tail of the longest line for passing the pace car under a caution period. So that is where they are at now. That aside, go Casey Ellis and Thomas Lane Jr. through to the front row. We'll be restarting this race with 9 laps to go. With all the pace under caution, fuel I doubt will be an issue now for these trucks. We should be good to go pretty handily here to the end of this race. So, with all of that behind us now, we can finally get this race back underway as the iRacing pace truck will pull into pit road, and Thomas Lane Jr. with Casey Ellis on the bottom will lead us back to the green. Rocketing away down in the turn numbers 1 and 2. Casey Ellis, Dale Rapp, Brendan Gregg, Thomas Lane Jr., Christopher Howell. Running just behind as we will fire to the back straightaway. McRoberts being put 3 wide up the middle, but it'll be Lane stuck on the outside with no help. Ellis leads the way. Rapp running down in second as we'll look set to fire this one off. Trouble! Turn 1. Pillar around. Berry around. Hard into the outside wall. No caution somehow. Will stay green. Dale Rapp continues to run up there with the race lead. This is how it happened, working down into turn number 1. Mike Allen got tipped. A massive recording effect. Berry overcorrected. Strikes the outside wall, slides down the racetrack, and we'll keep him rolling. Less than 10 laps to go. Casey Ellis and Dale Rapp working on the top shelf. Brendan Gregg and Ryan McRoberts just behind them, the main pushers. Everybody from first on back to 14th tucked in line with this one battle. Paul Witt now back onto the lead lap. Trying to go up the middle, couldn't get it done. We'll tuck back in line. So this is where it all gets crazy, right? Is when we see everybody starting to check up and fire around each other. Again, Paul Witt trying to put it 3 wide down the middle of 1 and 2. Flowers on the top, Dixon and Slagle on the bottom. Double it back out. So Casey Ellis leads the way. Down the back straightaway. Here comes McRoberts. Ryan McRoberts making a charge with the race lead up on the top side. 3 wide for the lead. Down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Brendan Gregg looking to pinch him in. And Casey Ellis trying to hang on. Dale Rapp now taking to the top side to go 3 wide. Rapp, though, can't go anywhere, and will double it back out as they thunder it down the front straightaway towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Josh Berry loses a lap. And now with just 5 laps on the clock. 4 laps now left to run at Daytona. Brendan Gregg trying to pull clear for the top shelf. He's got enough. He can jump down if he wanted to, but he missed the mark. And now Casey Ellis fighting back on the inside. Greg remaining loyal to Paul Witt. Witt's not really loyal to him. Look out, contact! Oh boy! Here we go. Big crash in turn numbers 3 and 4. Buwalda on his side, the big one, with 4 laps to go. And that puts us to overtime. Well, it was likely going to go down that way with how aggressive they were fighting. They certainly made an effort, though. Here's what happened. Well, this is the tail end of it. As you see pretty much everybody in that main pack getting collected to the big cluster. As all of this fell apart on the back straightaway. And it really all started when Brendan Gregg got punted around. Here's a look. Watch as Paul Witt is going to try to clear in front of Casey Ellis. And it's, well, Witt gets down fine. Gregg did not, and that is what stacked up the entire field behind and gave us an almighty wreck that collected Christopher Howell, but the points leader, Aaron Raymond, escaped unharmed. It's going to be on board with Raymond, who is now running in second. Oh, boy. Just able to get around that whole mess as they wad him up in turn 4. And from the air, I was mentioning earlier, it only takes that little bit and it can ruin a race. Whole bunch of races just got ruined right there. So we would be taking our final lap this next time by, but we will have we will be sending this race into overtime. So I'm anticipating we are 2 laps to green as of right now. Paul Witt and a chunk of others have opted to stay out, make sure they can maintain track position. Raymond and Moore have all come down to pit road. So at the moment, the drivers that have not pitted on this caution are Paul Witt, Brad Slagle, Robert Jordan, Greg Pillar, and Mike Allen, the top 5. Bobby Blowers in 6th, came down to pit road. Christopher Howell came down to pit road this last caution. He now runs 7th. Aaron Raymond all the way down to 16th. Oh, and that's because Raymond had to use a fast pair earlier, so he had to spend time in pit road getting the damage fix that he just obtained to the big wreck. So that may have just killed Raymond's hopes on going for a win. He escaped the worst of it, but he did get damage. And that damage could do him in here. This has been a bit of a cluster of an ending to this race so far, and it's only going to get weirder and wilder as we go lights out with 2 to go on the docket. Hedge your bets, folks. Who takes the race win at the Daytona International Speedway on this sole green-white checkered attempt? If we make it back around to the white flag, whatever happens on that last lap will happen. Otherwise, this race, we'll see a big chunk of drivers finishing this race behind the pace car. Wouldn't it be a story if Paul Witt were to come home and take this win? He started in 4th, dropped down out of the main field, lost a lap, had to fight to get it back, was able to do so when he drafted his way up in front of the leaders and stayed there to lead the single file train. Fought his way back through the entire field, now leads the way, coming down for green, white, checker finish. This would be such a storybook ending for Paul Witt if he were to come home on the top step of the podium. Play races are the wild cards. That's what they always say, and I think this race has proven to be a huge wild card race. Pace truck is in, green flag's out, 2 laps to go at Daytona. Brad Slagle and Paul Witt, dead heat, running through turn numbers 1 and 2. This time by as we work the back straightaway. Firing down the main stretch, this time by as Witt and Slagle. Remaining drag race, look out, we got one car going around. Casey Ellis spinning down the inside. He'll slam the inside wall. But no caution because he's too far down. We'll keep it green. We'll get a look at that one after the race. Paul Witt leading the way still as we will fire it through. We'll take the white flag. 1 lap to go. Robert Jordan's now looking around trying to find a move. Flowers blinks out. That's a bad point for that to happen as everybody filters to the top. Brad Slagle trying to establish some sort of a run, trying to push him through towards that final run. Mike Allen sits just behind. Ellis bails out. He's the pit road. Paul Witt, meanwhile, being shoved by the 74 Robert Jordan. There's going to be a move. It'll be out of turn number 4. Oh, unless Jordan gets turned, and Jordan does get turned. Big crash out of turn number 4. And Paul Witt will get the storybook ending, and he will take the checkered flag. Goes from hero to 0 and back to the penthouse for Paul Witt at Daytona. It fell apart on the final lap. We'll get a few replays coming up for you here. First and foremost, this is what happened to Casey Ellis on the back straightaway, as this was he was sent spinning by John Bualda Jr. down into the infield. Tanked the inside wall, and then of course if you had that thriller on the final lap. This is working out of turn number 4 as everything fell apart over in turn number 4. We'll get a look at that in a moment, but for now, Paul Witt will get to burn it down as a race winner at the Daytona International Speedway. Witt with the winner of the $100 cash prize at the end of the night, and it all fell apart when Robert Jordan got into it big time over in turn numbers 3 and 4 with the likes of Robert Jordan and more, and this is how it all fell apart. Coming around through that final critical corner. This is working the back straightaway. Watch Blowers get an almighty run, and he's just going to give a bad bump to Jordan. And that is going to stack up the entire field. As right there, it all falls apart, and that's a wild wreck coming out of the final corner. Well, regardless of all of that, it is a race win nonetheless for Robert Jordan, who will come home as the race winner at the end of the night, and he will take out the $100 cash prize. Josh Berry will be finishing it off in second as Raymond, as it turns out, with a penalty, I believe, post-race, he will not get the second place win he was hoping for. Bill Hales will pick up third. Christopher Howell will be in fourth. Ryan McRoberts was fifth. Dale Rapp was sixth. John Walter Jr. is seventh with Jordan in eighth. Brad Slago ninth. Brendan Gregg rounds out the top 10. From there, you got Mike Allen in 11th. Flowers at 12th. Raymond settling down for 13th. That is wild for him. Tristan Bayers in 14th. Greg Pillar rounds at the top 15. From there, you got Casey Ellis, R.J. Buchanan, Tom Dixon, Thomas Lane Jr., and Philip Isaac to round out the tail end of this field on what was, I think, to put it mildly, a crazy race we had over the course of the night. And we'll get the chance now to talk to everybody that finished this race on the podium, and we'll kick things off, of course, with the driver that finished in the race win. It is Paul Witt, and Paul, my goodness, what a wild night it was for you as you managed to come home. You started up in fourth. You took the lead for a while. It looked like it was pretty much over when you fell all the way to the back, lost a lap. You drafted your way to get that lap back. A lucky caution falls your way. You have to run through the field, take the win back. All of that, what goes through your head the entire race when you have to cross that checkered flag and you got no competition behind you?
Well, the whole thing is at the first pit stop when we came in, I didn't take fuel for some reason. It glitched out and didn't fuel my tank, so I had to go drive all the way around again. I ran out of fuel. I coasted to my pit, went 2 laps down, and got both my laps back the hard way by passing the field. And just what a truck this thing was, man. Oh, my God. It was just on rails.
So walk us through that final green-white checkered finish. You've got 2 laps to go. All of a sudden, you've gone from, as you mentioned, being 2 laps down. You're leading the race now, and you're running into 3 and 4. You're prepping for what's no doubt going to be a slingshot move out of the final corner, and all of a sudden, in your mirror, a whole bunch of smoke as the whole field junks it up. What was going through your head when you saw that?
Well, the good thing was I had Robert Jordan right behind me, and he was going to stick with me. I owe him big, because it wouldn't have happened without him pushing me like that. But that caution, I was just before it came out, I gave him a heck of a push, and I got cleared, and I went down underneath him, and he just come across my nose because I was already to the inside. I hate that happen, but yeah, things just fell my way tonight.
And, of course, looking forward now when we go racing next in the TNGG IEL Truck Series, we'll slow it right back down to Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a track that is arguably about as far in the opposite direction in terms of the racing spectrum that Daytona is. What's going to be the game plan for the Coliseum 100?
You just got to try to stay out of trouble there. That's about all you can do. It's a short track. I don't mind Bristol. So, I've won at Bristol once before. So, you never know. Cards got to fall your way just like it did for me here tonight. Just glad I was able to pull a win out this season with these guys, only coming in. I think this is my 6th race here. And, I got this DR metal roof and Toyota out there. And I'm glad I got it in victory lane for them.
Well, we wish you the best of luck then when we go racing next week at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Congratulations on the race win here tonight, and best of luck next week at Tennessee.
All right. Thanks, Nolan. Appreciate it.
That was Paul Witt joining us here at the end of the night. We'll move things on down to what ended up being the second-place driver, Josh Berry. It was looking to be a third-place finish for Josh Berry, and then it ended up being the runner-up when Raymond got that post-race penalty that saw him being relegated down to 13th. So, Josh, It was a wild last 20 laps or so. Obviously, we had the bit of a caution fiasco, and then had to fight your way back the hard way. And hey, you pick up second place at the end of the night. So how does it feel to be on the podium after all of that?
It feels good. At first, frustrated, but it's just happy to finish second. I don't race a lot here, but when I do, it's always clean, good racing, and it's a good league, and I'm just happy that I could do good here.
Well, you certainly did a good job on putting that 15 truck up on the top step of the podium here tonight. Kind of walk through the race as a whole because you are up in front for the most part. You started this race on pole. What's it like from the front of the field instead of having to fight your way back to the midfield like guys like Paul Witt had to do?
It's really nice to control it. The only problem is you can't save and try to pit a lap later, like the 052, and the 27 we're doing. But still good. It's nice to be up front because you get to avoid most of the stuff. But we went green for the first 50 laps, which was nice.
And, of course, we go to Bristol Motor Speedway 1 week from now. Kind of walk us through what the game plan is going to be when we go to the world's fastest half mile.
First, show up, and I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. But once you're there, it's pretty interesting, pretty multi-groove, but tires matter quite a lot. And that bottom, really good, but if you can get the top to rotate, you'll be quick.
And, of course, with all of that, we'll let you get back to celebrating that P2 finish. Congratulations on finishing runner-up here tonight. We'll wish you the best of luck, either at Bristol or whenever we see you on the track next.
Thank you.
That was Josh Berry joining us up here in the number 2 spot. We'll move on down to the third and final driver. Bill Hales just barely escapes the big one on the final lap, and he will come home to take up the number 3 finishing position at the end of the night. So, Bill, walk us through the last 2 laps and all of the chaos that was brought with it.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought we were sitting pretty until that last caution when half the field was on pit road. We were, went in the pits, I think third, was going to come out somewhere in the front. But the restarting, I think 8th or 9th on the bottom is not a good spot to be on a green-white checker. But all you can do is push. We went into turn 3 on the last lap, and I saw the 74 and the car in front of him get together and slide up the track. So I drove off the track a little bit to get by it and snuck in for third,
Indeed, you were able to sneak in there and just pick off that third position. Overall, it was a decent qualifying effort from you throughout the course of the race. You started 6th. You were able to keep it up in the front for a majority of this race. What was the secret to make sure you weren't caught up and wallowed back in the midfield like a lot of the others were?
Super speedways, my plan is to stay up front. I try to run in the top 4 or 5, and it's pretty the safest spots on the field. If you're in the middle, somebody messes up, checks up, you can get run over from behind, or you can hit somebody. So I just try to stay up front on the super speedways. I enjoyed this league. I had started at the very beginning of the season, but had to stop for a little bit. So I race when I can. I enjoy racing with the guys. So I'm going to race next year full time. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a great league.
Do we expect to see you out at Bristol? And if so, what's going to be the game plan?
I love the bottom. I'm running the bottom the whole race. So you'll see me if you see me, I'll be running the bottom. I won't be running the wall like the rest of them. So yeah, that's a good place to be for me to stay out of trouble,
Well, fair enough. We'll see if you can bring that inside lane supremacy back that Bristol was once known for. For now, though, congratulations on the third place finish here tonight. Best of luck when we go racing at Tennessee.
Thank you, sir.
As Bill Hale is joining us up here as the final driver at the end of the night, and what a night of racing it was. Just pure chaos from start to finish. But I have to say, would not have had this race go any other way. It was absolutely phenomenal. That's going to do it for us here on Green Flag TV here tonight. We are off on Sunday. Of course, if you want to get to these broadcasts Sundays, you can find out more about our pricing at www.greenflagtv.com. But we will return on Monday night for a doubleheader once again. The Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series will be racing at the Seaburg International Raceway, and the High Tide Racing League Emmett the Science Cup Series will race down at Kansas Speedway for their 7th race of the season as well. That and more coming on up on Green Flag TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all when we go racing next week over at Bristol.